You need to have that zeal and work hard and make sure that, no, there is not any other health worker who should die. If I've lost this one, at least let's make sure, let's supply people with what they think, let's get protective gears to use. Let's make sure that these patients finish the 21 days without infecting other people. We are, thank God, that at least most of the districts, most of these affected districts, around now know them where we've got these positive cases. At least we are moving 21 days. We haven't got in the last 3 weeks, 3 weeks and more new cases. True. So for us, we are playing that, oh, God, it help us. Yes, it's to the end. Because no one would wish to have this. It is more deadly than anything you can think about.
So, Honorable, I come back to you. Now, in terms of what you said, the positive interventions you've done in terms of educating in the schools and all that, what other successes can you say that you registered during this period of time?
One of the successes is positive attitude towards change. So to those communities we've been, we are still within. At least you can see they are putting hand washing facilities because you're emphasizing the the washing of hands. They put hand washing facilities. Other implementing partners are coming on board. They're also donating hand washing facility, meaning they are positive towards the campaign of sensitization of this Ebola virus. And true, these are same people. When you reach at their gatherings, and before they talk about any other thing, they ask the status of Ebola. Trust me, someone is already aware what is going on, and is eagerly waiting to see what is next. Like the marathon run we had of MTN, Run for Babies. The crying babies, not the other ones. Run for babies. So after that marathon run, I was called on several occasions that, Honorable, now we've been running, you know, we are sweating. There was a lot of contacts, and we already infected with the virus. I was telling them, don't panic. When it comes to such situations, don't panic. We still have to count 21 days. If we don't see any abrupt fevers, we are sure we don't have the virus, and that's what we are praying for. So after those 21 days, the virus is not within us. Kampala will be free. Machinde will what? Will be free, because that was a certain activity which someone wouldn't avoid to contact the neighbor. Since we are so many, and it was something fun. You can chase people to come and run. But again, another thing, when you look at the teachers, these are within schools. The teachers who have been sensitizing our children, because after you have sensitized the leaders, the teachers also remain to sensitize the children. So there's a certain village I was this morning. It's called Kamwanyi. It's in Zambia. When I went with my ICE materials, I was distributing Ebola messages. So already the children were aware of what is going on. Honorable, teacher yatugambye, meaning at least they are informed. The teacher told us to wash our hands. The teacher told us not to share clothes. Meaning at least there's a message which has been put to the public. They are aware what they should do. And I was asking them, now, teacher Yabagambi, where are we washing our hands? So one of them was taking me to their home. Honorable, come and wash their hands here. So they are already aware of what is going on. Although there are some 2-3 things to pick, some people are not that positive. Of course, you cannot all be the same level. Others are still denying it. That is politics. That one, we cannot just get it out of people's minds very fast. That's why we are emphasizing more of the social behavior change. Yes, we should teach our people time and again. We shouldn't get tired. So as one of the risk communicators of this, whenever you find a gathering, please. And yesterday we were sensitizing the borders. The borders of Machinde. We sensitize the leaders so that they can sensitize their stages or their counterparts. So we sensitize the leaders. I flagged them off to continue the campaign. We are fighting Ebola. We should kick it outside Kampala, outside Machinde, outside Uganda. But how? I was encouraging them at least to carry at least one passenger. Please don't carry more than one passenger, because when you carry more than one passenger, you are emphasizing the contact.
Yeah, true.
Yes. So if you tell your other border riders that please, you are the one are now spreading Ebola. Whenever you see someone is putting on 2 passengers, make sure you stop and tell that person, now you are spreading Ebola. Yes, because you are carrying more than one person. You don't know where this other person slept. You don't know where this other person was from. And we are finding this so much on our highways. Like you see Kwenizwe Highway, that one, Kwenizwe Highway, as you're going to Kabalagala, Gaba, there are certain border people who stage around Clock Tower. And for them, they carry whoever is taking that route.
Yes, two.
Yes, they carry over. It can be 2, and if they are tiny, not my
3.
size, they can even be 3. So those are people wanted to spread the message too. I know we are we are looking for Kavera to take home, and but we should take this Kavera when you are at least healthy. Yes, don't take the virus home. You would rather take the Kavera, whether you want to take the Kavera home, but you take additionally the virus. So make sure at least you carry one person on your border. So I was so delighted that the border leaders were so positive with it, and actually they've been bugging me. When are you coming to sensitize us? I can see you go to markets, you tell them to wash their hands. Our mayor is ever talking to those slum communities on how to avoid this. That is Alhaji Ali Kasilingana Mnyanyama. But still, all the leaders are on board. Yeah, that one I can assure you. All leaders are on board, starting from the LC1 chairperson. And the religious leaders welcomed it so much. So when you go to congregations, church congregations or mosque, and that's why the message goes straight to their ears, because they hear from their leader very, very fast or positively than any other person outside.
That's nice.
The community.
Now, in terms of managing this, because it looks like every day you have something up your sleeve in terms of sensitization and movements. How are you managing it? Isn't it quite costly? And in terms of the manpower that you have on ground, because now we're talking about majorly more of Machinde. How much manpower and how quick is it for you to spread out? Like now, if you're also part of the team moving around to ensure that you spread, you give out some of these materials that are passing out the message to us. How is it workable?
Actually, as the leader of the Pillar of Risk Communication in Machinde, because that falls on my head, and as I told you, we have implementing partners. So when it comes to getting a mass of mobilization, we have partners on board. We've been having UNICEF, we have WHO. Actually, that one is mandatory. That has to work. We have AMREF, we have USAID, and SBCA. So such partners, LWF, they're coming to help us, at least input, because we need fuel. We need megaphones, we need batteries. Yes, so when people come out to support, and all these people I'm talking about, they're within us. They're within Machinde. So when it comes to Machinde, and your offices are in Machinde, why do you sleep? If you are also dealing with issues of health, come on board and help us on here or there. So these people have been so sensitive, rather positive, when it comes to giving a hand. At least I'm sure my VHTs are going to get a bottle of water on their way as they're talking, because whenever you talk, you get thirsty.
True. Yes. Okay, then I get back to Yahaya, because still I would like to drive from your experience, because I know you're the one who is basically down in the communities most of the times. What is the feedback you're getting from the people when it comes to some of these issues? Because you know, with COVID, I think people got to a point where it sank in, because most households in one way or another were affected or infected. What is the situation like when it comes to Ebola?
Thank you. Now, Sophie, I think one thing you need to understand, the way you fear Ebola is the way how community perceives or fears Ebola. Because as my minister was saying, that communities, you can't fight the outbreak alone. You need the community. Yeah, she has talked about a very important concept called social behavior change concept. Mindset of the people. What it was killing people in Kasanda and Muvendi is the mindset. You get sick, and then you're thinking they are bewitching you. They are telling you you are having a disease and you need to go to a health facility. Why we got a case here? We got cases, the first cases we got here in Kampala. Someone is running as a contact of a positive case of Ebola, and you are running away from a treatment center because you don't want to be quarantined. You are running, you think they are going to quarantine you there, and they won't give you food, and maybe they will kill you there, you will die. Mindset. The only way you can come out of this and make sure that is when you have the community in your hands. When the community does not respond, you can't do anything. So the beauty here is there are structures. We have VHTs. Mackinda has got around 255 villages with 21 parishes. And these parishes have got VHT coordinators. At the village level, there are 4 VHTs, and each village has got those VHTs. These VHTs are community health workers who move house to house. With the support from the partners, they have moved households per household, carrying out risk communication messages, sensitizing, asking families in a given homestead, do you have people who are sick? Do you have people who are presenting with these signs and symptoms? And then they are pulled out. And the community is willing to this. There are times where people would hide people. My sick person, let me hide them here. I don't want them to go to quarantine. But here people are saying, I know in that household, someone has taken a weak man and is coming out. There must be something wrong. And then, the community comes up, and then we get that person out. And then you check, you find whether it's having Ebola or not. Without the community, we can't do much. A community engagement has been at the highest level. At every level, communities have been engaged to support the stopping of this outbreak of Ebola. Now, leave alone that, we know very well that our health facilities are the ones where when someone gets sick, they move to the facility. When they move to the facilities, and that's where, because when someone gets fever, we always rush. They need to find out what is the problem. Health workers, if they are not trained, they get infected. We've trained around 129 mentors who are moving facilities, escalating these messages to the other health workers in the division, so that every facility, wherever they say that when people come to your facility, you do screening with a temperature gun. That's the first thing. When someone has got a temperature beyond 37.5 and above, please first isolate, put aside, and we do more screening, where there may be a case, before they come to the facility and make sure that all people are infected. So when they are put aside, then you go in to ask more other questions. See whether, have you been in a place where there has been Ebola? All this is done to make sure that we are eliminating those who may be having the disease, so that we can cap down the disease. Now, in one of the things that we've been doing, there's what we call market surveillance. Because these are areas where we have a lot of populations. People come from different areas and they go to these markets. Now, we need to assess the risks in these areas. So we do what they call market surveillance. We assess whether this area has got leaders who can understand. Do they know about Ebola? Do they have IEC material, information and education materials that talk about Ebola? Can they do some screening at any point of entry? Are there hand washing facilities? You are assessing risks. All these are measures put ahead to make sure that there's no any case that can enter, maybe in such a market where many people are congregating. Then we look at the institutional surveillance. You look at the schools, you look at the malls, you look at the, all those you are looking and assessing to see whether are there any points that maybe infections can come from. Are people ready? Do people know what to do in case there are these challenges? All of these are put to make sure that we cap this is put ahead to make sure that people know, have the information they need to know, so that when anything happens, they can easily communicate to the health worker or move to the nearby health facility. That even if they move to the nearby health facility, health workers are well educated, are aware that this is what we have to do, because at least we have an emergency center where they always have to communicate in case of any alert or in case of anyone suspected to have the disease, looking at the signs and symptoms which have been already communicated to these health workers or to the community in case of anything. That's why now we've received more than 200 alerts more that are coming from the community. People are communicating, calling on that free toll line of KCCA 0800 299 0000, which they have been calling. With anything, when you start getting such information coming from a community, it means you are with the community. Community also wants to make sure that we don't have infections down here. So from the VHT, from the households are all informed. Posters that have been moved to all the villages, and people can read. Everywhere you read, you see things that are talking about Ebola. How do we prevent this? How do I report? Whom am I supposed to report to in case I get a disease or I get something that resembles Ebola? In this situation of outbreak, we are saying any fever, please first take cautions, because we are in an outbreak. When we are in an outbreak, anything that is related to that outbreak, we first look out for that outbreak and say, no, now this one is okay, can proceed for other treatments.
Now, Honorable, I get to you, as we are here still, feeling a little bit comfortable because of the way the situation has been managed. And if you can go 3 weeks where we are saying no new infections, we might drop back into our comfort zone. Now, as we draw into our comfort zone, we get back into our old habits of different things, hygiene, what, because you think that, okay, now the Ebola, that one is sorted. I'm speaking as a lay person, assuming that is what somebody's thinking. And they go back into their other routine behaviors. It's a rainy season. How are we managing? Because, of course, you have a lot on your hands. But now, certain times, there is this bit of like, once we concentrate on this, if you've been cracking the whip on this other area, you first put the other area on hold and you focus on this.
Actually, for us, we are not resting. What I can assure you, or assure the public, as much in the sensitization is still going on. We are teaching them also to avoid open defecation, because it's one of the elements which can make an eruption again within the community. You never know who has defecated in that cavera to throw at the back of his house or the back of his back. To whom it may concern, we call it whom it may concern. So we are not resting as team. We are still sensitizing, we are still teaching them, because as I told you, when it comes to social behavior change, you don't rest, because the person you taught yesterday today is going to tell you, I forgot about that. So what you do, it should be continuous, and we are encouraging even our other leaders not to sit back and relax, because it is not yet announced that we are now free of what? Ebola. Although we don't have any other case, any new cases which has come up, but you shouldn't sit, because you never know, it may erupt in any other small situation that wasn't thought of. As already Yahya has told you, those abrupt fevers, you don't know what may come out of them. It may be abrupt, the normal one, malaria, but if it is not certain where it has come from. Those are the cases where he was telling you to put aside for extra assessment. So the fevers cannot, it's a rain season. So we have malaria is ongoing because our drainages are not that cleaned, and we are encouraging them to clean the environment. Malaria is ongoing, and when it comes to holidays, our children, when they are far from the drinking point, you can drink any water. It
from
comes
anywhere,
up.
yes,
anywhere. So that is typhoid we are calling upon. So the fevers are still there. But to assess which kind of fever that person has got, that is another issue that you have to put aside and assess more. So the team has not rested. You may look at it as we are a bit relaxed because there are no new cases, but when it comes to risk communication, for us it is continuous. The good thing, we still have supporters, those partners who are who can at least buy a little fuel and also a bottle of water to the team when he's moving. And when it comes to Minister of Health, it is still supporting us so much, and we are still working together in that. So the team the team has not yet left the institutions. Now they've gone back to their wheelchairs, their sitting chairs. No, we are still working.
Now, how prepared are we? I would like to ask for any future outbreaks. Might not necessarily be Ebola, but even COVID-19, because from the stories we hear in China, boom, it's back again. How prepared are we for these future pandemics?
For the future pandemics, it may be any other pandemic. So one of the things which are other elements we had to put in place, and that is during COVID, was to observe the SOPs. So we are still observing the SOPs. Whichever pandemic comes about, the SOPs has to be observed. There's no way you can run out of that. When it comes to issues of health, those are the same things we have to do time and again. We are just changing, they just rotate which one comes first, which one goes next. But we're still observing the same. So as Kampala, as KCCA Machinde, we are still doing that. Yes.
And Yahaya?
Now, there is what we call surveillance. And most of the countries look out for what we call surveillancing for disease outbreak. And as a division or as a city, we have a level. At every level there is surveillance which is being carried out. At facility, where we have facility-based surveillance or health facility-based surveillance, then you have community-based surveillance. Now it all starts down. There are structures in place. Every now and then we get feedback from VHTs. Who are at the village level? Because these people are coming from the villages and where the infections come from. So every month, every week, there is that information that comes from the community, the VHT reports, which tell us or alerts us of any disease that is coming from the community. Then we have the facility-based surveillance, where facilities look out for those diseases that are of importance. If someone presents with such a signs and symptoms, someone has signs of COVID, someone has signs of Ebola, and these, if all health workers have been trained in assessing and understanding how these diseases present, I look at that as a tick. Because now, you be assured that if any client presents in a facility X with any signs that resembles Ebola or any other disease, this health worker will be in a position to assess and make sure, oh, this is something is not usual, which needs to report. Then they will do report. At the village level, in the households, VHTs do home visiting to facilities. And if anyone is sick, they make referrals to the nearby facilities. They make reports to the divisions so that in case of any disease outbreak, but it is understood quickly before it has engulfed most of the population. So this surveillance is the way to go. We surveil even if there are no diseases. We have to do surveillance. We have to look out for these cases. People move and go to the communities and look and ask, is there any child, is there any person who has presented with this? Is there any, so that you look out for the disease. All 24/7 surveillance will not stop. Even if we finish this Ebola, we shall continue and look out for these diseases in the communities. Leave alone the Ebola. COVID, you hear, it's also coming back. Some of Chinatowns have been closed. And more so, more variants are coming. You never know what can happen. God forbid we don't need to close this country again, because we cannot really manage to be in that kind of situation. But then we need to look out for these cases before they can move to any other place. The moment we do our surveillance systems are up there, then we shall be in a position to look out for these cases before they can affect the most of the populations.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, Honorable, as KCCA, what is your working relationship? The village health teams are doing a very fantastic job. I'm very impressed to see how much has been put into them in terms of education and in terms of their willingness to be able to interact with the communities at whatever level, regardless of the condition. Now, what is the relationship between you and some of these small clinics on the BRO and in the locale of Machindye? How are you working with them to see that they're up together with you?
We are. I'm reporting. This is something so interesting. These are facilities. They're on the level of health facility too. They are working with us so well. Actually, those ones we regard as private but not for profit. These come up to support us in very many occasions. Be it immunization, be it sensitization, be it outreaches in certain areas, maybe maternal health. These are so supportive, and we don't leave them out. Even at this time, we are still working with them because they are the faster centers. We are sure any patient can reach out before even going to Kisugu, our facility cases, say before going to Chirudu. So they first go to clinics. We call them clinics. They first go to the clinics, but as Yahya already told you, even the clinics have another section where they're told what to do. So when they come up with such cases, those abrupt fevers, they know how to assess. So they've been on board. They are also trained, and they know what to do. And it's not only this Ebola, even other illnesses, even other outbreaks, they are ever with us. And we do thank them so much because they are a hand to a government. And I was surprised that is 2 days back when I went to Nsambia Hospital. I was asking them to give us a service as a plea. But when the CEO told me, no, when we work for government, we are also proud. So I didn't know that. So when it comes to such private facilities, we are ready to work with them for as long as they come out straight. And this is what we have. This is what you should also help us with, because we are there to help each other. At the end of the day, we are all serving one person. That is the community. Yes.
What are some of your best moments? You as a person, you as the people who are always down there at the grassroots. And you get back home and you smile and pat yourself on the back and say, today, I think I have done it. In terms of when you go out, passing out the messages, meeting the different people, being able to save a life, I don't know. What about start with you still?
One of such a happy moments is when I talk to the young children and they tell me, we understand what you're saying. They even go ahead to illustrate, even tell me more. These are angels. I look at them as angels. So when I give my message to an angel, I'm sure that message is going to reach everywhere.
Good. And Yahya?
You ask about this
the
kind of
best moment.
Yes, the best moment. Now, in service delivery, the best moments are always in service delivery, and there's nothing that makes us happy when we save lives for people, because that's what we are made to do. And me, that does me a great. It makes me happy and feel like at least something has been. Even if I save one life, I believe I'm so happy. Now, the facilities in Kampala, it is 95% owned by service deliveries by private. Government facilities are very few compared to any other place. So now, the working relationship we have with the private facilities, the government-private partnership, is just something you cannot overlook. And that's how we've managed to really work in this Kampala. And facilities, the owners' willingness to come and work with you to make sure that maybe you reach a certain milestone, maybe you prevent this disease. When it comes to immunization, you call out these private facilities and they come on board and they send in their health workers. You train them and they update their knowledges and you work out with them. This really makes me, every time I go home I say, yes, these private facilities, working with the government, that kind of partnership, and make sure that service delivery reaches the the person who needs the service down there. Sometimes we bring in immunization and there is no pay, so immunize for free. Give these children vaccines. Come and we prevent this disease, because if you're not in this, then it will find you wherever you are. And the willingness of these people to work with us, it makes me happy. And there's so many people that we really helped, and there's so many communities that we brought on board to support and help these communities prevent these diseases. It's just amazing that this kind of working relationship with the private facilities, reaching out to these communities and saving these children, because we have slums in this Kampala. Just look at the children who are on the street, and the way we've tried to support the private and government working that relationship is just amazing, and makes me happy every now and then. I wake up, really, we are going out there, we are finding private facilities, we are having, we are going to do this with these private facilities. It's just good for me. Okay. Yeah.
Now, Honorable, your final take-home message for a person who is watching you right now in just like a minute?
I would encourage them, please, when it comes to issues of health, put the rest aside and fight for that person. Make sure that person is healthy. And I will send my regard to the people of Lukuli who entrusted me to be where I am. And I tell them, please be the ambassador to the entire Machindi. Do what we're supposed to do, keep healthy, fight Ebola out of our division.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable and Yahaya, for making time to be able to come to UBC and share with us and update us the success story of what Machindi is doing as a division. Well, that is all we had time for. I know we would have loved to continue and go on, but it's just like 5 minutes to top of the hour. That's 10 o'clock. And I would like to say bye from me and the crew. I'll leave you with Michael Jordan Lokoma, who is coming your way shortly with the 10 o'clock news.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.